Namaste, welcome to this practice. Find yourself seated and we'll begin by bringing the soles of the feet out of the front, holding on to the knees or the shins. As you breathe in, begin to open up across the chest from collarbone to collarbone. On the exhale, rounding through the upper back as you tuck the chin. Inhale, lift and lengthen from navel to heart. Exhale to round. Moving with your breath. If the toes want to come off the floor, you could let them do that. Let this initial movement invite the mind into the body. One last breath in to lift. Draw the chest forward, and as you exhale, round a little deeper. Feel that space between the shoulder blades. Take a breath in and lift on up. Tuck the left foot in behind the right foot. Reach forward and hold on to that right foot. As you breathe in, extend the leg and take the right arm back behind you. Take another breath in and lift up a little taller out of the pelvis. Exhale to soften. Inhale, come back through center, and then cradle this right leg, perhaps holding the knee, the foot in the elbow crease, just rocking a little here as you relax through the thigh. And then placing that right ankle on top of the left thigh, finding this figure four position. As you inhale, lift on up and take the hips a little closer to that front foot. Stay lifted and swing the hips back towards the hands. So rocking forward and back here, just a few centimeters off the floor. And as you bring the hips all the way back, lower the legs over to your left, look over the right shoulder. Inhale back through center, legs heavy to the other side. Inhale center. As you exhale, lower that right foot, tuck that left in a little more, wrap the back arm around the knee and look over your right shoulder in your twist. Stay for a full round of breath in and out. And as you release, go on and find that starting point once more. Inhale to lift, maybe starting to lift the chin, open the throat. Exhale to round, relax the jaw. Smile into the breath. After this next out breath, inhale to a more neutral spine, tilt forward a little so you can tuck the right foot in underneath. Reach forward and take hold of the left foot. Inhale and extend the limbs forward and back, perhaps gazing to those back fingertips. And as you return through center, cradling that leg, just giving it a little sway from side to side. Perhaps you can find that the more you relax the buttocks and the thigh, the leg feels heavier, the hip starts to open a little, and then as you place that foot on top of the right knee or thigh, lift up the hips, draw them forward and rocking forward and back. As you take the hips closer to the hands, lower the foot down over to your right, look in the opposite direction, inhale center and exhale to the other side. Landing that left foot over, might tuck that right foot in a little more. Wrap the back arm around the front knee to twist, drawing the lower ribs around. Now as you unravel, finding that starting point once more, 3 breaths here. Now as you lift up, go on and find your way onto your hands and knees. It might be crossing the legs and rocking over. Spread the fingers wide as you curl the toes under. Lift the chest and the sit bones, and then looking towards the belly as you breathe out and press all the way up into downward facing dog. Just make little micro adjustments here to find more comfort than discomfort in your down dog. Use your next breath in to glide the right leg up into the space behind you. Step the foot forward, low lunge. On the in-breath, take the arms up. And on the exhale, framing the front foot. Stepping your way back into downward facing dog. You can make it more challenging each time by trying not to drag the foot on the mat. Inhale the left leg up. Stepping the foot forward, low lunge. Inhale. Arms extend, gaze lifts, and exhale, frame the front foot. Step back into down dog. Inhale forward into your plank or half plank. Press back through the heels. Take another breath in. On the exhale, lower down with control. You might bring the knees down first. No problem. Let's find Salavasana, our locust pose, as you inhale, rise up. Turning those palms down towards the floor. Drawing the shoulder blades together. One last big, long breath in. As you exhale, release. Making your way up through hands and knees or full plank, finding down dog. Child's pose is always there for you as well. Either option to make that connection with your breath. So keep coming back to it, that anchor point, that touchstone, any pose. If I haven't suggested one that allows you to make contact between body and mind through your breath. From your down dog, bend the knees a little deeper, come forward to the front of your mat. On your next breath in, lift the chest halfway. Exhale to fold. Reverse swan dive as you breathe in, coming all the way up. Palms connect overhead. Exhale down through center. Knees are a little bent here or a lot. As you breathe in, expand the arms wide. On the exhale, cross the right elbow over the left and scoop the arms up. So these eagle swooping arms. Opposite elbow over top. Using that exhale to soften, maybe bowing the head down. Bending into the knees perhaps a little more and feeling a full body rippling movement. Then as the right elbow comes over the left, palms meet or hands to the shoulders. Inhale, pulse the elbows up. As you exhale, bend the knees and draw the elbows down. Inhale to lift. Let the breath go as you fold. Inhale, rise up, release those arms, and then straight away the left elbow crosses right. Pulsing 2 breaths. Finding your way up to unravel those arms, letting those long wings settle alongside the body. Spread the fingers wide, perhaps feel a little air all around the fingers, the arms. Use your next breath in with those palms turned out to reach up, perhaps look up. Exhale to fold. Take a breath in to lift the chest halfway. Step the right leg back, finding your high lunge. As you reach and lengthen through the sides of the body, connect the palms and land them at the heart. Inhale this heart-opening breath, crossing right elbow over left or equal arms. Inhale, lift the elbows to pulse. Exhale, drawing down into the belly. We hold here for another full round of breath. As you breathe in, come all the way up, unravel the arms and frame the front foot as you exhale. Stepping back into plank. Inhale forward. Exhale, release with control. Locust, 1 breath. Release on the exhale. Finding your way into down dog. Feel an ease through the neck as you look up towards the navel. Perhaps even find a little space between the back teeth here. Steady breath. The eyes might be closed or you found a point to gaze at there. Let's take a moment, one last full round of breath. Then using your next inhale, gliding the right leg up into the space behind, hips are lifted, step the foot forward, build into your high lunge. As you're ready, arms extend alongside the ears. Palms connect. As you draw the hands down, imagine the spine lifting taller. Open the arms as you inhale. Left elbow crosses right. Breathing in, lift the elbows, pulse. Exhale towards the belly as you reach the crown of the head forward. Use your breath in to lift the torso, unravel the arms and frame the front foot. Next breath in, step forward, lift halfway. Exhale to fold. Finding Utkatasana as you're ready, bending the knees, taking the arms alongside the body, alongside the ears, or of course you could bring the palms to touch in your Anjali Mudra or Namaste hands. Once again, seeking where you can make subtle adjustments, finding more comfort than discomfort. And as you press into the feet, breathe in, reach the hands tall overhead. Exhale and press the palms up a little further towards the sky or the ceiling, particularly through that index finger side. Let the knees soften a little and rotate towards your left. Let that right hip come into the twist. Use your breath in to move through center, maybe find a little more length before rotating to the other side. Bending the knees as much as needed to find that comfort in your body. Try not to restrict that left hip, but just let it come into the twist with the lower ribs. As you return through center, release the arms behind you and interlace at the back of the body. Inhale, draw the hands away from the spine. Bend the knees deeply as you exhale, fold. Take a moment to surrender to gravity. If there's a little too much through the shoulders here, find a bit more of a bend through the elbows. And we lower those bound hands to the lower back before releasing and letting the arms waterfall to the floor. Take a breath in as you lift the chest halfway. Step the left leg back and find your high lunge. Mind silently watching over the breath moving in, the breath moving out. Using your next exhale, find these wings floating back behind you as you continue to lift the chest and head forward. Inhale, extend upwards. Exhale, forward. Maybe lift the gaze a little higher here. You can continue like this or find your warrior three, extending the left leg up and your choice with the arms that supports you here in the pose. We lower the hands down to the floor, bending through that standing leg. Could you reach that left leg a little higher as you bring the chest to the front leg? On your next exhale, bring that top knee down to the right calf and lower the hips, a little tap here. Inhale to lift and extend in your standing splits. Exhale this curtsy tap. Inhale to lift. Exhale, lower the hips a little more. One last time, reaching the leg up and long, landing it at the back of your mat, finding your way into triangle pose. Right hand comes somewhere on this front leg. You might start a little higher to avoid the compression of the torso in eagerness to reach the floor. So staying high and long is ideal. Maybe taking the top arm up. Find that balance between rooting down and rising up. One last breath. Maybe get a little lighter on that bottom hand. Use your exhale to fold that top hand down, stepping your way back into down dog. From your down dog, lower the knees to the mat. Bring them a little closer than hip distance. Extend the right leg back behind you. On your exhale, curl the knee in towards the chest, round through the upper back. Inhale to lengthen like an extension of the spine. Exhale, curling in. You could add the opposite arm, reaching as well, and bringing elbow and knee into center. And if you wanted to build on this, next time you take the limbs long, bend at the top knee, reach around and tap the foot. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, curling in. Inhale, lengthen. Tap. Exhale. Moving with your breath here. One last round. As you extend the right leg back, lower the left hand down, tuck the right knee in behind the front knee, the left knee. Lower the hips down, let them be a little heavier towards the floor, and then as you breathe in, rock forward. If your knees aren't happy, find child's pose. Exhale, sinking a little closer to the floor. Inhale, coming forward. One last time, exhale. And pausing here. Don't worry about bringing the bottom to the floor. We're not here for a long time. Instead, concentrate on switching off effort where it's not needed right now. Extending the arms out in front, draw yourself forward. Unravel the legs, find your way into downward dog with a generous bend through the knees. Spinning on the balls of the feet, lower the hips to the right. Come back through center as you breathe in, exhale to the left. Just one more like this on each side. You can find the depth that's appropriate for you and your practice today. Lengthen the spine out as you're ready in your down dog, drawing the front ribs up to the back of your shirt. As you're ready, extend your left leg up into the space behind. On the exhale, step the foot forward, find your high lunge. Finding areas in the body that would like to receive more space. The shoulder blades slide down the back a little. Could you soften your gaze in front? Could you release the hold on passing thoughts? And as you exhale, send those wings all the way back. Breathing in, lift and lengthen. Start to send a little more weight forward as you find your warrior three. And as you begin to lower your hands to the floor, bend a little more through the standing leg. Draw the right knee to that front calf. And then inhale, reach the leg up. Draw the chest a little closer to that front shin. Exhale, squeezing in. Just exploring those energies, those different directions. Reach that leg up one last time, a little longer, a little higher, before landing at the back of your mat and building here into a triangle, Trikonasana. You might take a peek over that bottom shoulder and just check in with your own personal alignment. Perhaps the ankle, hip, shoulder, all stack on top of one another, and perhaps they don't. Let your intention be to open through the torso. Feel into the breath. And your Trikonasana is going to look very different, as is everyone else's. Let's take one last breath in here together. And then lowering that top hand all the way down. Lowering down to the knees. Sending the left leg back as you breathe in. Curling in on the exhale, knee to nose. Inhale to lengthen, perhaps adding the opposite arm. Exhale. If you wanted to add the tuck, you could bend at the top knee, reach around and touch the hand to the foot. Lengthen the limbs and curl in. Great practice in core strength as well as balance, focus, mindfulness. One last round of your variation. And as that left leg extends, lower the right hand down, tuck the left knee in behind. Release that breath as you release the weight of the hips. Inhale forward. Exhale. Inhale, your breath. Perhaps the eyes are closed and just being guided by the way your breath likes to move you, and then landing, finding a moment of stillness. As you extend your arms out in front, rock forward, release the arms, find length in down dog. You might like to spin again from side to side or pedal the heels out slowly, one heel at a time. And then lowering those knees down, go on and find 3 breaths in your child's pose. As you're preparing to lift all the way up, sit over to your right side in deer pose. Bring the arms out a little wider to the side before turning the right palm up. Take a breath in, lift, and bending over to the left. Simply find a bend through that top elbow, a little more through that top wrist, perhaps through the knuckles of the fingers, and just feel that whole arm heavy. Left ear might be making its way to the shoulder. Just feeling that in this moment you could step back from effort, surrender to gravity, enjoy the breath moving in, and the breath moving out. And then as you reach that arm back upward, take a breath in. Land the hand behind you as you exhale. Inhale, press into the shins, lift the hips, just look over that bottom shoulder. If you wanted to add a little more effort here, imagine dragging the knees towards each other to touch. You'll feel the glutes switch on a bit more. Use your exhale to lower the hips all the way down. Extend that left leg out to the side. Find your half butterfly. Keeping the legs as they are, just begin to lift the torso up and start to pivot it around so the center of the chest is facing towards that left knee. You may like to cross at the wrist. This is a nice way to stay bent through the elbows and open across the chest. Feel free to allow the spine to round a little if it wants to, but without compromising that space through the front of the torso. Release and slowly roll all the way up. Bring those feet out in front, remembering that starting point. As you inhale, lift and feel the space through the body now, and exhale to round. Making a choice just to leave any feelings of restriction, tightness, or tiredness, any form of negativity or discomfort, just leaving that on the mat here. As you find your way back up, find deer pose, sitting over to that left side. Come forward a little to the front of the sit bones, turn the left palm up, and as you inhale, reach and drop that arm a little heavier above you. Could you soften the abdomen and enjoy that very gentle stress that those intercostal muscles between the bones of the rib cage are receiving right now. Along with your pranayama practices, this is a great way to find a fuller, more purposeful breath. As you breathe in, begin to lift up and enjoy that release of the arm as it lowers down behind you. Press into that hand and the shins as you inhale to lift. The top hand can always rest at the heart as well if that's not ideal for you to stretch the arm upward. Drag those knees in a little towards each other for one last breath. And as you release the hips, the top hand comes down and we extend that right leg. Let that knee face up towards the ceiling and only come as far forward as you're able to without that knee rolling in or out. We're going to add a little twist here in our half butterfly. So lift the spine first out of the hips. You could use the hands alongside you to guide the center of the chest around. And as you cross at the wrists, soften the elbows, soften the spine, soften the effort, soften the breath. Slowly coming all the way up. As you bring those feet out in front, hugging into the knees, or wrapping your arms around, could you find your way in cosmic egg, lifting just to the tips of the toes, or perhaps lifting the feet off as you bow the head to the chest and floating in that space for a moment. Feel that sweet moment of stillness and silence. Lower the feet down, rocking all the way onto your back. Let those knees come with you. Cup the hands over the knees so the fingers point towards the feet and just begin to make big circles with those knees moving out to the sides of the body and then making their way back to meet in center. And changing direction of those circles. Slow circles matching this breath, allowing it to slow down now as well. And as the knees come back to center, lower the feet down. Just pause for a moment. You may like to stay with the knees bent, resting against each other with the feet wide, or slide the legs down to the folding alongside your body, could you grant yourself just a couple of minutes or more to rest in stillness? Witness the breath moving in and the breath moving out. Sense the soft abdomen rising and the belly falling. Remaining attentive to this next breath. And this breath. And this breath. Please feel so welcome to stay longer if it's possible for you. And if it's not possible for you on this occasion to linger in Shavasana or meditation for a little longer, notice that you can still congratulate yourself and practice gratitude for this opportunity to take the time on your mat that you have enjoyed, knowing that even this time increases your well-being, your sense of positivity and clarity in your mind. This in itself overflows from your practice into your day, into the interactions with others, out into the greater world. So I thank you for sharing your practice individually and collectively. Namaste.